You're gonna want to hear this. The following is guaranteed to knock your ears right off. Not intended for the faint of heart.
There we go. Now it's going to record this time, only last time. This is the Line Around Podcast with your host, Liam Saranich, with my co-host, Matt.
Hello.
And Bree's not here tonight. It's her birthday, so happy birthday, Bree.
Happy birthday, Bree.
Happy birthday, Bree.
It's funny, you didn't say happy birthday to her today.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
At 10:04.
Yeah, so Bree's taking the night off tonight. Celebrate her birthday. But we have some special guests tonight. We have Lisa's back again.
Hey,
third
everybody.
time. We have Lisa's cousin, right?
Yes. Cousin and friend.
Cousin and friend. Jenny. Right.
Nice to be here.
Jenny, right?
That is
All
Jenny.
right, got it. I'm always bad with names, so sorry. And then Rich.
Yep, that's right.
Awesome.
Jenny.
So we are talking about tonight road trips, going around the world, seeing places, seeing things, seeing different people. It's gonna be a great, fun time talking about it. I had some, what's it called? Terrible trips as a kid, and some cool trips as more as I got older, but never left the States. But you have. Tell them, Matt, where have you been?
Yeah, I've been to Aruba. I've been to Aruba is pretty cool. Nah, it's all right, but and I've been to Atlantis. That was a good one too.
Is it real?
Yes, it's very real, and there are fishmen there. But yeah, I think I also went to Mexico, but I forgot.
So, like, 1 out of 3 of those is possibly true. And it's definitely not Atlantis.
No, Atlantis is a resort that I went to.
Where?
I think it was in the Bahamas. I went to Bahamas as well.
Why did you say Bahamas? Why did you say Atlantis?
It's just same thing. Close enough.
It's not. Way two different things, buddy. Way two different things. But so I'll bring the floor to Lisa and we'll go this way. So where's all the places you've been, I guess?
I have been around the U.S. I've been to Central and South America. And I've been to 2 different countries in Europe, Canada, a couple islands.
Nice.
Yeah.
What were the islands?
Well, I've been to Aruba, Matt. I think I saw you there.
Wait, now question him about it, because I don't believe him.
It was nice.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually I did take this little tiny kind of, it's not really a cruise, but it was on this like, kind of wooden sailboat around some islands. And that's actually where I got engaged a long time ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was a few different islands in the Caribbean.
Nice. Let's go this way.
All right. So I'm Jenny, and I love traveling. I love traveling in the United States. I've traveled a lot outside of the States. I think it probably started from my parents taking us on some pretty wacky adventures. Road trip for 6 weeks in a van with 2 teenagers, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, driving across country from Connecticut to California and back. They took us to South America as little kids, so we were, and not like fancy, not resort kind of trips, but staying in hostels and staying with families, meeting people, kind of all. I remember staying at a house of a bullfighter in Ecuador.
Did he have a pet bull? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I didn't check the backyard. Maybe that's where they kept him. But yeah, then ever since then, it's just kind of wanderlust of little bit in Europe, backpacking after college. I went to Australia and New Zealand and spent time in Southeast Asia. Rich and I went to Thailand and traveled in Africa. really, I think I've touched all the continents except for Antarctica. That'll be a trip.
I'll never
sometime.
touch any of them. I feel like I'm stuck. I'm stuck in North America. Like, there's no way.
The government won't let anyone touch Antarctica. That place is secret.
Let's go, Rich.
So my name's Rich, and I'm married to Jenny, and on my own and with Jenny, we both traveled pretty extensively. Same, I've racked up 6 continents. Antarctica's still on the list.
See,
Trying to
this
get there at some
is conspiracy now. Everyone's never
Cruise
been.
there.
They think it's real.
But gosh, we've really traveled a lot. I even studied tourism and recreation in college in Colorado. And then I toured and recreated for most of my 20s. And even since then, we've really traveled quite a bit through Central America and Mexico, and still going. So
Nice.
looking for new places.
There you go. So So I'm the only one that's never left the States.
How does it feel, man?
It's pretty great. I mean, I'm having a blast. I mean, the farthest I've ever been is Florida. Like that's
That's pretty far.
yeah.
It's kind of like a different country too.
Yeah, if you could. We'll say that to make me feel better. Yeah. I've been to Florida.
Where would you want to go?
Oh God, yeah. So that was my first question, actually. If where are the places, all the places you've been, where was one place you would actually go? And I'll go first, I guess. I do want to. My first place I ever want to go to is Norway. It's so beautiful, just from the photos I've seen, and I want to see the Northern Lights up there. I know you've seen like those igloo, like fake igloo things they have up there. I don't know. It's like a fake igloo where it's like glass on the top of the ceiling, and it's like you can like rent out. It's like a hotel thing. And you can literally like lay in a bed and look at the Northern Lights from a bed.
Is it like those houses that they started to do over COVID, like when you were able to go to a restaurant and eat in like the little igloo?
Yeah,
Like
it's
a
something. It's
bubble?
something like that. Except it's like a little like apartment where you can go in there, stay like a few nights, and like see the lights and all that stuff.
That's on my bucket list too, the Northern Lights.
Yeah, it's great. That's what I want to see.
Do they usually like put plants in there?
Yeah.
It's like a greenhouse. They're just selling their greenhouse to you. And you're falling for it.
Exactly. It's beautiful, and they grow veggies in there too for me. That's all homegrown. No, but that's definitely somewhere I want to go. I'm huge, like mythology nerd with like Nordic mythology, so I want to go to like Denmark, Norway, Sweden.
Rome?
No, that's Greek mythology, but I probably that's Roman mythology. But I'll probably go there one day too. I have a Roman tattoo on me as well, so
Yeah.
I'd like to go there. But yeah, that's my first list is to definitely go to Norway for sure. What about you? You know, you claim to be at Atlantis, the
Yeah,
Bahamas, Aruba. I don't know. I think you're lying, but
I'm not lying. I don't have any proof, but
just forgot to take pictures that night. How long did you go for?
I think like 3 days. I literally forget. I can't remember.
You must have been like wanting to play video games so bad.
I remember though when we were at the Bahamas for the Atlantis resort, there was a hurricane, and we had to stay inside for 2 days instead of going on our flight. So
No.
that's my experience, at least. It's my real experience. And the place that I'd want to go, I don't really know geography that well, but
I know you don't. So.
but probably some like weird place like Montana, because I don't think that
The
there's.
place is real.
I've never heard somebody from Montana, and I've never seen it. Never seen pictures.
I think there's no speed limit in Montana.
Whoa, you hear that?
I can get in and
This
out.
guy doesn't have
fast.
his license though, so he can't even drive.
Oh man.
Matt has his permit in the mailbox for a month now. He hasn't grabbed his permit yet. Why? What are you doing?
It's safe in there.
I hear Montana is quite beautiful.
Oh, hear that, Matt?
Glacier
have you heard
National
that from?
Park. Actually, that reminds me of being on a road trip there. Like on road trips, you have different positions in the car. And 2 girlfriends of mine, we went, and the car is a blue Volvo station wagon, and his name is Ernie. This was years ago, but we went from Colorado up through a lot of the national parks, and states, and Montana was one of them. And there was position 1, position 2, and position 3 in the car. In the car. So position 1, you're driving. You've got your A game on. You're driving. You're focused. You're awake. Position 2, you've got some responsibilities. You're the map reader. You need to get anything for the driver that they need, a water bottle or a snack or something. Position 3 is the one that I really liked best. That was in the back seat, and you really didn't have to do anything but look out the window and kind of chill.
Yeah.
It might be your time if you were going to imbibe in any kind of extracurricular activities or something. That would be the time to, enhance your experience because
You'd be in 3.
I know.
Because you can't read a map and you can't drive. So you're in 3 all the time.
Yeah, I thought position 3 was to annoy positions 1 and 2.
It could be entertained, keep them awake.
That's exactly what I'd be in position 1 driving, and you'd be like, "Are we there yet?"
Yeah,
and we
like,
just started 2 minutes into the drive.
What was that?
It's like, it's your house. We just passed your house. God. But yeah, I mean, that's great though. So it was a good trip though overall, like that trip.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing with road trips. Like you get into your groove with the people that you're with. That sometimes you're all having a good time. Sometimes you're maybe getting on each other's nerves. There's after a couple days there's a certain stink that
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
That'd be 5 minutes with you.
Yeah, I think it usually happens after 2 minutes.
So let's jump back a little bit and say places you want to go. So we'll go to Lisa now.
I guess I don't have a lot of real specific places, but it's funny that I find myself as I'm getting older, I don't always appreciate the heat.
Yeah, I'm all about the cold. I'm going up more north.
So like that kind of Norwegian area, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I also would really love an experience that's so different, like maybe Japan or China, and one of the cities like that you see, like Tokyo or
Beijing.
Yeah, like you see like just something that's just so different.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of European countries, and even, I wouldn't call myself a Spanish speaker, but I know enough where I could probably get by in Spanish speaking countries. But man, over like maybe in Japan or in China or something, I feel like maybe it would be a struggle if you don't know the language.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a real like fun challenge.
Yeah. I took 2 years of Spanish, and the only thing I know is no habla. Like, that's all I know. Like, I forgot everything. So I'd be terrible to go on a trip to, like, Spain or
The only thing I
Mexico.
remember was like, Puedo ir a baño, por favor.
What does that mean?
That's a good thing to know, man.
May I go to the bathroom, please? That's the only thing I
Of
ever
course
said.
you would know that. That's, like, the only thing you would know. Oh, God.
I think those are really important questions, though, especially when you're traveling internationally, potentially having some food that is questionable to your stomach, and it's a necessity to know where the bathroom is. So.
Yeah. So what about you now?
Wow. Well, what I'm really looking forward to, guys, is in a couple of weeks, Rich and I are going on a pretty big road trip, a 3-week road trip, and it's to a part of the country that I really haven't been to before. I've been across the country a lot and have gone to a lot of the different states, but I really haven't spent much time in Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. And so we are packing up our truck and we're driving down from Rhode Island down through West Virginia too. Haven't been there.
Yeah.
Tennessee, down through Alabama, but then I'm going to hop on my bicycle, not a tricycle, and not a moped, but a road bike and hop on this trail called the Southern Tier Trail, and it goes all the way across the country, but we're not going to do that part. We're going to do New Orleans to St. Augustine, Florida.
Nice.
I'm going to ride, and Rich is the support and gear vehicle. He's the sag wagon.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Getting my truck all outfitted with camping gear and setting up to.
You want to pull the mic a little closer?
Sure.
Sorry.
Setting up for a big trip. Looking forward to that. I think places that I would like to get back to, not to jump off of our road trip in the south. I'm looking forward to it. Return trip, I'd love to go travel around South Africa again.
Yeah.
I think there's so much to see between the animals there and the coastline. It's really a beautiful spot. I got to spend close to a year there when I was in my 20s. I'd like to return there at some point and bring our kids.
That's true. That would be
maybe on a road
fun.
trip there. Central America, I always love visiting Central America. I'd go back there anytime.
Yeah.
Nicaragua, I'd like to go visit there again. I had a trip there, but it was pretty short, and I'd like to see that again. And then I think a high-end dream trip for me would be the Maldives, which is like an island chain at the top of the Indian Ocean, kind of like to the east of Africa, I guess. So I'd love to go there. It's a kind of a dream trip for me.
Is it right near Madagascar or just above it?
Above it,
Yeah.
at the top of the Indian Ocean. So
Nice.
yeah.
What was I gonna say? So you talked about going to South Africa, but have you been to the Congo and all that?
I have not. I've in Africa. I've just traveled in South Africa. Where I spent I think 9 or 10 months there.
Is the Congo on your list of places you want to go?
I don't know if I'd go to that portion of it. I'd love to see Morocco.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to Egypt and see some of the Red Sea there.
The pyramids.
Would also be beautiful.
Yeah. Because I know in the Congo there's so many different animal. I don't know if you guys are big in the animals and stuff like that, but there's so many different animals they're discovering there too. Consistently in the jungles and the dense jungles of the Congo, and there's the huge. Have you seen the huge birds with the huge big mouth and all that? I don't know. I don't know what it's called.
Descriptive.
I know they're massive, but I have no idea what the name.
bird?
Yeah, the big bird. But
Big Bird, that yellow one on Sesame Street.
That's
basically what it looks like.
He had a big mouth. I think we call it a beak.
Yeah, the big beak. Yeah, but yeah. So I don't know. I'd like to go to the places a lot of the animals and stuff like that, because I find that stuff fascinating, the ecosystem and all that.
What about Australia then? Because
No.
well, it's got a lot of animals.
No, that's a no-go zone for me.
Really?
Why
How
is that?
come?
Spiders, the massive amount of spiders there, and
Sharks.
snakes,
Lots of things that can kill you. In Australia.
platypuses can kill you.
All
you know
right,
that?
if you're getting close to the platypus, you deserve it. I don't know what you're doing.
if I get
But the koalas are cute.
Oh, yeah.
And the kangaroos in Australia, you would go to a park and it would be the people that would be kind of fenced in, while the kangaroos were out kind of doing their thing, boxing each other and jumping around. And you were able to kind of watch them, but it wasn't like you were in a zoo. You were actually on the Kangaroo Island, but you could see them in other places besides Kangaroo Island.
there's a fight club there with just kangaroos.
I hope so, man. I'd pay a lot of money for that.
I'm gonna tell you right now, we're gonna fund it. You would box a kangaroo, and you're gonna lose in the first 5 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw that one guy. Remember, he was defending his dog. His dog got put in a headlock and just hit him.
But yeah, you're not gonna be like that.
I think I'd give him a 1-2.
You're like,
Can we talk this out?
you're gonna talk it down, negotiate it with it. You're I got bamboo. It's it's not a panda.
I got hay.
But so you want to go to South Africa, you said, and the islands above Madagascar, and the Indian Ocean. That's cool though. Definitely.
A lot of the things that Rich has traveled for is surf. 'Cause
Oh,
that's
really?
Your
Yeah.
passion. So when you think of where you've gone, it's
Yeah, a lot of
for
road
surf.
trips. Yeah, for surfing. So
Have you been to Cuba?
I haven't been to Cuba. It would be great, though, right?
Yeah, that'd be great. I think that's a really good place to surf. I'm pretty sure too.
I'm sure that it is. I
Yeah.
think there's probably a lot of unexplored coastline there.
Yeah.
And whether it's hard to get to, I don't know. Did your parents go to Cuba? I think they did.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've made it. You can actually go there now.
You
and all
used to
that
have to
stuff.
go through Mexico. Maybe your parents, did they go through Mexico to go, or did they go right through the States? I can't remember, but
I'm
know
pretty
they
sure there's
traveled
like flights you can take to go right to Cuba, but I'm not sure. But I know that they've opened like all the stuff back up, so we can go directly there again.
yeah, maybe sometime. Last year we went to the Dominican Republic for the first time, and I really enjoyed that. That was a really cool trip.
Yeah.
And a great place. I'd go back there again.
Yeah. Cool. So you were Dominican Republic. Did you go to Haiti though?
We didn't go to Haiti. I
Yeah.
don't know that a lot of people travel over to Haiti from
I know.
the DR, but
Yeah.
I think, yeah, we kind of, went to a spot and stayed put and, for a week or so and
Yeah.
drove around a bit, but
So now jumping off that, it's the place we want to be. Let's go back to places we've actually been now, and let's talk about the best trips we've ever been on. Basically, like what's the most memorable trips in like the best way possible. Like it's actually good, and we're gonna go after that. We're probably gonna go to like the worst trips. So you get put that in the back of your mind too. So we'll do like all the best and do all the worst. I got one like off. I got more worse ones than best probably.
Tell us.
My worst one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Let's jump to it.
Sure, we'll do worse first. So one time this is when we've been to Florida a few times, but I can't remember if it was to Florida or to New Hampshire, but I think it was to New Hampshire.
That's like pretty two
Yeah,
two different
it's not
things.
it's not about it's not about the end point. It's what's happened in the middle of the
Yeah,
trip. So
yeah.
that's what happened.
Okay.
So we're going on the trip. It's me and my whole family. It's New Hampshire, yeah. Now I remember, and on the way up there, we stopped by this restaurant. It's a nice restaurant. I can't remember the name of it. I was so young, but I remember the one things I remember is that like they had like this whole special there where it was like buy 100 tater tots, and if you finished 100, you get it for free, something like that.
Oh,
My sister who's
tempting.
younger than me decides I'll do that. She buys 100 tater tots, or like my parents buy her 100 tater tots to get it for free. So and she gets you, I think, probably like 3/4 of it, and she's like, I don't feel good, and she kind of had to stop eating it. So you kind of pack up the food. She had some chocolate milk to kind of try to quote unquote ease her stomach. So
I don't know
So-
if that was the right choice there.
They really want to use their stomach.
So we get in the car, we start driving, and we kind of rented out a big car where it's like 4 like rows of seats, something like that, for everyone to fit in. And my sister's in like 2 rows ahead of me. I'm in the way back. All of a sudden, I just see her going like, "I don't feel good. I don't feel good." And she's like, "I'm gonna throw up." I'm like, "Do not throw up." I have a fear of throw up. So I was like, I'm like itching to get in the trunk now. So I'm in the back seat. I'm like, "Get me out of this car." So then she starts begging to like pull over. They're like, "We can't pull over on the highway. You gotta just, I don't know." So they give her a bag, and she throws up all the 100 tater tots with the chocolate milk in it. And it
That's
was
rough.
the most disgusting sound I ever heard, smell, and like sight I've ever seen.
Oh my god!
Because they had to put that bag and hang it somewhere in the car because we couldn't stop. So the bag's just hanging in the car.
It's part
And-
of the smell of the road trip, I guess.
Yeah, and I was like, it smells like chocolate milk and yucked up tater tots. I was like, get me out of this van. I was like, at that point I was like, let's go home, because it's probably sooner to get home than to keep going. And I was so tapped out. But that was like one of the worst, probably one of my worst memories of a road trip. Just her throwing up all, whatever, like 75 tater tots into a bag. She was so young. I think she was like 7 or 8 or something like that.
I hope you have a good opportunity to serve her up some tater tots at some point. Just to sort of
I don't
bring
even
her
know if
back
she
in.
likes them anymore. I'm gonna
can't imagine
when we're
that she
older,
would.
I'm gonna take her another trip and give her the 100 tater tots again,
Yeah.
with the chocolate milk. And
Challenge.
and see if she can do it. I'll guarantee she will not handle it again. It was so bad. It was so bad. That's like one of there's so many of like trips with her throwing up that I remember. Like we got to Florida, and she had, like the Nesquik, like,
Oh yeah,
Like, it
that
was like-
chocolate milk powder.
but it was like strawberry flavored.
Oh, yeah, my favorite. I
So-
love
Yeah.
that stuff.
So then
did.
we pull over to this gas station. She takes like 2 swigs of it and just starts hurling it all up on the side of the parking lot. So every trip I've been on is with her like throwing up basically.
Does she have like a really bad stomach or
I
something?
know. She just eats the wrong things when we go on trips.
It sounds like there's a common denominator here.
It's something to do
chocolate
with
milk.
I don't even know.
Or motion sickness.
Motion sickness.
Or your sister.
Oh, it's just my sister. She's the worst going on trips with. I don't like going on trips with her because I get so fearful she's actually gets sick again because she's gotten like sick out of like half the times we've been on the trip, and I've had like full-blown panic attacks every time.
Is this why you don't like throw up? Like
No,
really?
I really hate throw up because of all these things. Yeah.
How do you go through college not liking throw up? I mean, isn't that part of college?
No, dude. Listen, I avoid it as much as I can. Like one time, well, tell this freshman year.
Is this
Remember
about
the
you,
girl?
Matt?
The girl. Oh yeah.
Always about a girl.
So this is off track, but we're literally in a dorm room, and me and Matt are playing Switch. We're playing like on our.
We were playing Smash.
We're playing Smash Bros. You know what that is? It's like a fighting game on the Switch console.
Yeah.
So me and Matt are playing, and everyone's just having a good time. People were drinking and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, we're playing, it's getting tense. We're joking, we're like what we do here, we're like banter with each other, like a married couple. And then literally everyone just stood up and just walked away. And me and Matt were just kind of sitting there still playing. And we're just wondering, like, where's everyone going? We're just looking left because everyone's getting up and walking away. No one's saying anything. They just stood up silently and walked. And all of a sudden, we were still playing, and all of a sudden we just heard the third yak, apparently, of the girl just throwing up right next to me. And I was like, good night. And I put the controller down, and I went right to bed. That was one of the worst things probably I experienced at college. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, it was a lot worse than that. Like
It was.
with at least the people that we knew in the situation it was. But
Yeah.
no, I can't. Personal.
Yeah. So that was like just watching everyone just stand up and not say a word to us. And I was just like, what is everyone? And then just.
And then you slept in that same room.
No, I didn't. That was not my dorm.
Yeah.
I got up
Thank
and
goodness.
I went to bed. I lived across campus at the time. I was like, I am going back to my room. So yeah, I left. I think
It wasn't my room either. I moonwalked out of there.
yeah. Matt moonwalked out. He saw it and literally got up and started moonwalking backwards. Like what a good way to like.
They're like, get out of here. Like, I was like, okay.
He's like, I'll go get help. He starts moonwalking out of the dorm room. I'm like, he's never coming back.
That's a pretty special skill.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good at that. He's got some good dance moves.
Is that something you can do on the carpet over here?
Yeah, do it right now.
Yeah, come
do
on,
it
we
right
wanna
now.
see you.
Moonwalk?
Yeah, do
Yeah.
it. Let's see it.
Come on,
I
Matt.
need a little throw up first.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
There you go.
Well,
Not as good as Michael Jackson,
No,
but
no, no.
definitely
But
entertaining.
Matt is close enough. He shares one thing with him. M.
Oh.
Yeah, see what I did there? Like M, Michael, Matt.
No.
Oh. All right. What's the worst trip you've been on? Aruba?
No. That was actually
Atlantis.
No.
wait, was Atlantis all underwater?
It was sinking. I was there. We had to get on boats. It was a travesty.
Yeah. You're describing the Titanic, I think, buddy. Like, you don't know what's going on.
You know,
You get it all mixed up. Were you there too?
It's a little blurry, but
Were you holding what's her name on the boat?
Leo?
I don't know her name.
Leo?
Leo, is that her name in the movie?
Oh, no.
Jill. Something. I don't.
I was gonna say Jack and Jill, like
It went up the hill.
grandma's house. Yeah, no. What's her name? You're
I can
pondering-
see them. I can see them on the bow of the ship.
Yeah, but you're holding the girl, and you're like, "This is
But I
not
can't think
Aruba. This is Atlantis."
And
It's all right.
It's okay. You'll think about it in the show, and you just scream it randomly, and we'll be like, "Oh, we got it."
But hang on, let me just move this a little bit. My worst trip was, I think it was when I was like 8, and we went to Newport, and we went to We stayed there for a little bit. I think like 4 or 5 days. But we went to one of the beaches there, and I always liked like going out in the ocean and doing like weird stuff. Like I'd always punch the waves. I don't know if it's weird or not, but
Matt,
Did they punch you back?
I'd be like, you can't hold me. Like I just but yeah, I do stuff like that, and one wave in particular like took me out, and I got annihilated, and I got sent back to like my mom, and I was like walking like really funny because there's like so much seaweed in the ocean at this time, and I was walking like super weird, and she's like go clean yourself off, and I have to like walk like I had like a full diaper, like go into like the bathroom, and I take down like I like pull down my shorts, and there's like something moving in my shorts, and I like go and flush it down the toilet, but I could like it felt so weird. It's like, and it's just so it was awful.
Wow, that really stayed with you.
that's the best thing I've heard. You had something in you, a fish went in your underwear.
There was something moving. It wasn't well.
I can only imagine in your pants. That's probably the worst thing. Alcatraz.
You must have been at Second Beach.
Alcatraz and Matt's pants was the worst place for a fish to be. Or Atlantis.
Oh no, they're fine there. They got a lot of food out
Yeah,
there.
you're right.
Yeah, the fish are probably handsome at Atlantis.
Yeah. Yeah, so it makes sense you didn't go there.
Yeah. Now, I don't go in the ocean anymore when there's a lot of seaweed.
I don't like the ocean either.
I think it's just disgusting.
Oh God, Matt, that's great. Someone probably all of a sudden you hear like a crab nip.
I'm like,
balls.
She's like, stop it. Yeah.
Lisa, what's
The worst?
Yeah, I guess the worst. We'll do worst first.
I don't know about the worst. I do remember as a very young child, like 3, it's one of my earliest memories that my family went to Niagara Falls, and I probably was just really like tired and cranky, like a 3-year-old or something. And they put the like raincoats on you, and you get all wet.
The Maid
and
in the
stuff.
Mist boat.
Yeah, and at a 3-year-old, I'm thinking like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And I remember crying the whole time, and in retrospect, I think I probably ruined that experience for everybody around me. But I think that's it. I do, when we get to it, I did have a road trip cross country with a person who had hair that hadn't been washed in a really long time.
That could add to the stink.
Yeah, and he kept it all in a hat. And of course it got real itchy, and so every once in a while he'd take off his hat and just like scratch his head like this.
And then just a bunch of white powder fell
And
out.
it's just the whole car would just smell like dirty hair. And
Ugh.
That could make you throw up.
yeah, that was a little tough. Those were some unpleasant moments of that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But probably that's kind of what any trip might be. Like maybe some of the, not necessarily that it's the worst trip ever, but maybe just some like telling moments, kind of like a dip in the joy, kind of when things are just not going so well. But maybe the whole trip isn't ruined.
Right. It's like the hair, the tater tots.
Yeah.
The tater tots.
Yeah.
Yeah, never gonna look at a tater tot again. The same. Or chocolate milk.
Now they were your sister, but
She still eats those things. She doesn't care. Probably not tater tots, but I'm not sure. I gotta talk to her about that.
Lisa, I did a little bit off topic, but just back to those really stinky raincoats on the Maid of the Mist boat. They have upgraded because I took 2 of our kids on a road trip up to the Canadian side of the Niagara Falls, and we went on that same boat, and I was telling them of childhood trips of these stinky raincoats that you would wear when you went out on the boat. And it's all plastic these days, folks. It's throwaway plastic,
Oh, one-time
one
use?
use. not so great for the environment, but good for the smell and just
hygiene.
kind of hygienic. Yeah. So you could have a better experience there.
Do you think they just clean it?
No.
No.
It's just that the other ones, they didn't clean.
Oh.
And multiple people wore them.
Ugh.
And got wet, and so it just kind of had that
BO.
like misty, stinky
Yuck.
smell.
They're like, you're like, whose raincoat is that? Somebody's like, I farted, my bad. Like,
Yeah, this must have been Matt's.
I'm sitting like, oh, so these are my pants.
it's my raincoat, I swear.
I'm going to pass it to Rich for a worse trip or a worse experience. I'm just trying to think of one.
That's fine.
Well, I kind of want to tag team on the trip to Niagara Falls for the end part of it for me, but
Did you go down a barrel?
I have another nurse. No, they brought me in to be the driver.
Yeah.
To help drive back. So I think we did like a 16-hour trip in 12 hours or something. Whatever it was exhausting. And I didn't get the first part of the trip. And the destination at the end was to make it to Six Flags in time, which you really want to be completely exhausted for. Six Flags. So that was sort of a rough trip for me. I remember that was a bad trip. But I want to say, I think that sometimes the worst trips are the best stories.
Oh, yeah.
After the fact.
Oh, yeah.
I had a trip in college for spring break where we drove from Colorado and we were going to go down to Baja and go surfing in Mexico. And so we completely outfitted our truck with camping and food for a week and drove down. We spent one night in Baja, and then the next day we were driving around exploring a little bit. We didn't have a destination. We were just sort of getting there and camping out and trying to explore a little bit. And my friend decided to go through a big puddle and go really fast. And the truck went into the puddle and did not make it out of the puddle. We blew a big hole in our engine and
Oh, my
ended up
God.
stranded in this little town in Baja called Camalú. And we were stuck on the side of the road while my friend grabbed a ride out with another guy from California. They ended up renting a U-Haul truck and driving it down. And it had a little trailer that you could hook the car up onto that we were going to tow our broken truck out with now.
Yeah.
And these guys were looking at us like they were going to rob everything that we had. We had all kinds of camping gear and camera equipment and all sorts of stuff in our car. But somehow we made it out. So there's really so many funny stories that came from that trip.
Yeah.
And one part of it was we had one thing where we drove up over this mountain pass where we were sort of going through Baja. And my friend and I were sitting in the truck that was broken, that was on the trailer of the U-Haul truck.
Yeah.
And we got pulled over. You always get pulled over in Mexico by federales. They're looking
Oh,
for
yeah.
like a
Looking
bribe or some way to sort of catch you. But I think we had spent most of our money on our food to be down there for a week. We didn't have much to bribe them with. And my friend and I, we got out of the truck and drove up. And in front of the U-Haul truck, there were papers all over the ground. And the Mexican federales were looking at the papers, and it's in big print, "Do not bring this vehicle into Mexico." And we ended up bribing them with cassette tapes. I remember it was like and I remember like just recently my friend hoping that they're still listening to the Michael Jackson tape that sort of got us out of trouble. So, potentially my worst trip. We ended up spending 4 days in Mission Beach, San Diego, instead of camping out in the beach in Baja. And I took a Greyhound bus back to Colorado from there, which is always a great experience. So
Yeah.
that's probably my worst trip, but my best stories.
No, that's awesome. No, not to say that what happened to you is awesome. That's good. That's a good story, though.
I think that's probably the case. That you, in hindsight, you kind of look back and get some good laughs out of it, but maybe in the moment.
Yeah, we're reliving that story more than the successful trips. You know, I feel like we talk about that one more with college friends.
Yeah.
One time, Jenny and I and somebody and another friend drove from the Grand Canyon to Phoenix naked.
It's true. We always have a lot of fun on our trips.
Just for fun, really, for no reason.
Yeah, topless.
It was all fun and games until we actually got into Phoenix and we had to like walk into the apartment. We're like, hey, I guess we're in the parking lot of the apartment. I guess we should put on our shirts.
Yeah, yeah, that would be probably the case. I'd assume.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. We're gonna go on a quick break, and when we get back, we'll continue our discussion. We'll be right back. And we're back. Yep. Did you go change your diaper before the show?
Yeah, it was packed full.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure. Yeah, Matt has bowel issues and nasty rash, so he's trying to fix all that.
Come on, man. We're trying to keep that on the low.
If you came, I just want you to know, if you came up to me and said you had a bad rash, I'm telling everyone. I just want that noted. So just don't tell me.
But what if I fixed the rash? Would you tell everyone I had a bad rash?
No, I would tell him you still had a bad rash. I'd be like, he had a terrible rash. It still affects him. He has scars.
Would you tell him I fixed it though?
No, that's up to you.
I fixed my rash.
I know Liam told you guys had a rash. I fixed it. I fixed it. Is that?
It's good now.
It's good now. So we're gonna talk about some things. We're gonna wrap it up soon. So, because I want to be respectful of everyone's time. But we're gonna talk about. I want to talk about. I think we talked about best road trips a lot, though. I think we did talk about, like, you two both talked about some great road trips you've been on. You've mentioned some of your trips to, like, islands and other countries in Europe. You've mentioned Atlantis.
Yeah, I mentioned
I don't even know.
Fish people.
This guy doesn't even, says he's on the Titanic and says, I'm in Atlantis. I don't even know what you're talking about. And I've just been to Florida and New Hampshire.
Yeah, I guess so. And you've been near your sister a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that happens.
I want to ask, with like a road trip, are you guys more people that would be like plan everything out, like, oh, we got to do this at 3:00, like go do this at 5:30, or do you like go there and you're like, oh, I'll do whatever I want during the day and go figure it out myself? Like, which kind of people are you in that aspect?
Matt, I really like this question because I think you've touched on the essence of a road trip. Like a true, I mean, maybe it's personal opinion, but I feel as if there's an element to a road trip that is the unknown. That you don't have the exact spot that you're stopping for lunch, the exact hotel booked or campsite booked. It's a little bit of a we'll see.
Spontaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah, room for spontaneity. I think that makes for a great road trip is having some idea of your destination but just sort of winging it and staying in places you don't expect. Then you get to meet people that are local people that maybe take you in. You end up spending a couple days, so I think having that flexibility is really nice. It's a good part of a road trip.
Yeah, I go up with I'm more of the person that don't plan things out. I like, just whatever happens. I don't care. Like I'll wake up at like, I don't know, like 11 and I'll just like start doing stuff. But then I go on like a trip with my aunt and she like gets things done like so quickly. She's like, wake up at 7, like at 7:30, like have breakfast done at 8, go to the mountain at 9, catch a fish, like but I feel like that just putting like the rush, or I feel like it's a rush at least, and like doing all these activities just takes out a little aspect of like you're supposed to enjoy yourself as much instead of be like, oh, I didn't make the show at 4, like, or something. And then you just feel a little more exhausted as well at the end of the day instead of like relax and better like that. What about you, Liam?
I don't know. I'm all about the plan. Like I'm all about getting there on time. I get places earlier than I want to because I like to. I always come here like 30 minutes before the show. I'm always like 10 minutes early to class. Like I'm always like try to be early. It's better to be early than be late. So if I have a plan, I usually try to get there earlier before I like have to, so I can either like probably enjoy the time I have before I had to go to these things, or just be there so I'm not late. So I don't know. I don't like having like, I like to have a set time, but to always like go earlier before that time. So I don't know. So I don't know how that would work on a trip, but we'll see.
And I guess maybe you need to know who you're traveling with and what kind of trip you're each looking for. Because a road trip that maybe you have a certain amount of days and can kind of stretch it out is different than, yikes, we have a week-long trip, 2 days are traveling, and then we have 5 days there. Maybe you want to get some things done and you want to make sure that you get to it. So I can see where you could have both kinds of trips, maybe.
Yeah, there's definitely like a balancing act. Like obviously you want to have some probably things like I want to go here because there's a big event. But then, like, I don't want to like go to the big event and be like, I gotta go to this thing at 7:30, this thing at 7:45 in this big show. But just being there and then choosing what you want to do, I think that's a good balance.
What are some rules you have for traveling? I have a few. Never travel with a Kiskin, which is you.
I think we gotta fix that rule.
Never travel with Matt. Let's see. People with middle part hair.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
Don't travel with people about to cry.
Nah, but I don't know. Like I went on a trip this summer with some friends up to New Hampshire. It was great. I loved it. It was awesome. I'm trying to think like what I would have done differently, because they were some of them. Oh God, I hate when people start doing like 99 balls, beer in the wall, 99 Like I literally like I want to like jump out the car, take their tires off, and just let them cruise. Just see where they go without their tires. It's like so annoying, and they just kept doing it. They did all the way to 100 to 1. And I was ready to like blow my brains out by number 99. Like I was like, they hit 100 and then they hit 99. I was like, I'm done. Can we stop this?
That happened to me. One of my friends, we were on a school trip and we were going to like, I don't know, like nature's classroom, I think, or something. And yeah, my friend was in the back, and he like started doing that as a joke, and all the girls were like, "Stop! Like, shut up!" And he went until like the 0, and then they were like done afterwards. Like they wouldn't talk to him, they wouldn't do anything.
Well, yeah, I would be one of those girls. Be like, "Let's go, let's leave this guy." Like, I'd be like, "What's wrong with him?" To do that for that long in a car ride, I don't know.
What about music choice?
God, I don't like certain music.
Who picks the music and for how long? And do you get the pick of the music and how loud? And right?
Yeah.
You got to divide that stuff up.
and do you lay that out first, or is it something that kind of flows and happens?
Maybe that's position 3. Hiding.
Position 3 is playlist selection.
Position 4, music. Like
Position 4 is security.
Position 4 is you're on the roof of the car, strapped. That's
Like
position
on
4.
Edna.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, music choice.
I think the driver of the car. I think that guy has. So first, the driver of the car has, I think, prime selection, at least at the start of music, and then after like that's been like going on for a while. Maybe people
Because
start.
he holds them hostage if they don't like the music, and you start fighting. He can just go off the road.
people start choosing their music there, and they start deciding it, and then like, could I play this song? And also, the person, if the driver has a romantic partner, the romantic partner always gets the front seat as well. That's also a hidden rule, I think. And then that overtakes shotgun. But the shotgun obviously is an amazing rule.
Obviously.
But the romantic partner has to always go in the front seat, because like, I mean, it's just weird when they're in like the back.
I can imagine like if we do go on a road trip one day, and it's like me, you, and like I have a wife, and you're like, I'll take the front, and my wife is in the back. I'd be like, what are you doing? Because you'd be in the front, you'd be like, yay, like kicking your feet up and down, like twirling your own hair. I'd be like, what's going on?
Yeah, the GPS would be like, take the next exit on. And I'd be like, blah, blah, blah.
You'd be the worst co-pilot. You'd be like, oh, you know what?
Oh yeah,
Because you'd have to read the map, and you don't know anything about geography. You're like, it says there's a road somewhere on this map. There's a few dozen, thousand of them. I don't know. Just take this left.
I just forgot. When I was coming back, or I left Eastern one of these times, one of my friends, and yeah, I had to do the navigating that time, and we were trying to like go to like a store. Or like a thrift store.
Like, talk about the time you almost threw my phone out the window.
No. You're lucky I held back. But yeah, we were trying to find like a thrift store, and every time I'd be like, oh, like go left, and then he like started taking the left. I'd be like, oh, it's right. Like, what are you doing? He got so mad.
You'd be the worst. We'd be hours behind. I would actually I think I'd kill you. I'd be like, what's going on? But I guess we'll leave it to you guys, and we'll wrap it up after you guys go about etiquette in the car rules.
I don't know. We about the music. We often, I've been in a few circumstances where about the music, and it's kind of fun to kind of go in a circle, position 1, 2, 3, etc., and about who gets song choice. Like you get to pick one song, and then you get to pick the next song, and then it's kind of fun, and then you kind of sometimes can be funny about that too. That's kind of fun.
Set the vibe.
Yeah. And then if you wait, if you have gas, don't do it in the car, and if you do, roll down your window.
You would just let it rip.
Easily. Look out below.
We do have a rule in our car too. Like if there's 2 cup holders, that the driver gets the easiest cup holder, the first one. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah,
for sure. I think that's it.
Yeah. So I think the farting and kind of different smells was something that was, again, coming up for me, kind of etiquette in the car. In our car, I think there's often a different variability of when people need to use the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
And at least one of our kids was like a little baby bladder and just could never hold it in for too long. So not necessarily talking about road trips, but just driving around town. I always had one of those little like potties that you had when your kids were potty training, but we kept that thing around for a long time. Because if I was in traffic, I would just say, you're going to have to, I can't stop right now. You're going to have to just go in the potty and dump it out. I recall being on a road trip. This was in Chicago at rush hour.
Like in the city?
In the city with 2 of the 3 kids, and it was just me. And I had said, we're about to get into rush hour traffic, so we're not going to be stopping. But inevitably, that's when I really have to go to the bathroom. It's just not happening. So, yeah, my daughter got out of her seatbelt and peed in the potty, and my son dumped it out the door while we were stopped in traffic. And that was just the rule. That's how it rolled, man.
You'd think it was only number 1.
You're just like driving on the highway, then like something gets dumped
Something
out the
brown
window.
and wet
they're like,
falls
"Whoa,
out.
What is that?
See something brown and wet fly out. You're like, I don't even want to know. Just keep going.
I don't think I have any strict rules. I'd say they're not strict, and that if you're going to go on a long road trip, make sure to have some part of the trip be wide open without a plan. Because I always like doing a little exploring, driving up over the next hill, checking something out that you didn't think you would, going down some 4-wheel drive track and getting yourself a little bit lost. I feel like it's nice to be a little lost. I like to build that plan for the unplanned on the trip.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Cool.
I think the once I start driving, I think probably one of my strictest rules will be like position 3 has to always get position 1 a back rub. Okay,
That's a good rule.
it's one of my rules. If you don't like it, you can get out of my car.
But you don't have a license.
Yeah,
Once
dude,
I get it-
you gotta also grab your permit out of the room, out of the mailbox.
Hey,
You can't even drive.
no harm, no foul.
Oh, hey, Rich, speaking of going over the next hill and not really sure where you're going, do you want to quickly tell that story about when we were in Peru?
In Peru, when we went to the point. La Punta.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was crazy. Right?
we were all in Peru,
Yeah.
and we were in a vacation town on the coast where there weren't a lot of tourists.
Yeah.
Kind of where the locals went to vacation. You know, there were some tourists, whatever.
Maybe not a lot of American
Yes,
tourists.
not a lot of American tourists. And we had been at this kind of party at the hotel, and a few people said, you know, late night, like everyone's kind of going to bed, and like late night, like we're still up and we're still having a good time. Who wants to go to the point? Well, everybody.
Of course, we want to go to the point.
Yeah,
What
I'm
is
like,
the point?
I'm going to the point. Like, take me to the point.
Right, and I'm going with you. And we end up. They had these little like 3-wheeler, like little tuk-tuks. I don't know what they were. I don't remember what they were called there though. They were like these
Golf
little
cart type of
sort
things, or
yeah, like fast little moped
In
things.
Thailand,
like,
they were called tuk-tuks. I don't know what they were called in Peru, but the same idea, kind of.
Yeah, and we're all of a sudden packed into those things, racing out on these dirt roads, like way out to the point, not knowing what the point was.
yeah, and really, we didn't even actually really know the people that were taking us to the point.
No, we didn't. And then we get to a place, and there's all these like grass things out on the beach, like little huts where I don't know if people were staying there. They must have been. And there's this big gate that slides open, and they sort of like, okay, like you can come into the point. And they slide the gate open, and then we come in, and then they slide the gate shut behind us, and there's a whole bar
Yeah, like a club.
inside of this place at the point. It was great. I'd
Yeah,
like to go back there.
but it was really fun. But we were also I was feeling a little nervous, and I think Rich and I were looking at each other like, is this really a good decision?
Right, 'cause
That's
how
where
are we
people
getting
go
back?
to get kidnapped. That's the point is the point to never go there.
How are we getting back, and where are we getting back to exactly?
Yeah.
Because it was far away.
Yeah, like
It was a little
where
bit far
are we? Oh, well, I guess we're at the point.
Yeah, they call like a helicopter. They come like they can pick you up from the point.
But if you didn't put yourself in that position,
You would
open for
Did you see-
spontaneity,
Yeah.
then you wouldn't have been
Right.
able to go to.
Did you see Matt at the point? He was there.
Yep.
He runs the
so.
point. Yeah, he runs the
I have some high up friends at the point. They're at the tip of the point, actually.
All right, well, this has been the Line Run Podcast with your host, Liam Saranich, my co-host, Matt,
Bye.
and our special guests, Lisa, Jenna,
Jenny.
my bad.
That's
See,
all right. It's been a
like
lot of
Ian
fun,
this
whether
time.
it's
Liam?
Jenny, Jenna.
Jenny,
Rick, thanks
and
for having
Rich. And Rich. Well, thank you guys, and good night.
It's been fun. Thank you.
Of course,
night.
good night.
Right there, mate. You're listening to the Lounge Around podcast. Stick around for more.